It's been a little while, and so I decided that I'm going to talk about the greatest gift of taking a spiritual path. And that's really can be any spiritual path. It doesn't have to be something specific. Although there are some spiritual paths that can lead one astray, that can lead you astray if you're not careful, if you are given the wrong information and you are given the wrong perceptions and you are given the wrong programming, you can be led astray. However, the true spiritual gift is actualization and true realization. Now, this comes with self-actualization. In Hermeticism, there is a maxim, as above, so below, and there's the other maxim, as within, so without. So if you decide, as you realize, truly realize, and I say truly realize because when you first learn this, there's going to be a lot of doubt. There can be doubt for years on end, decades even. However, for some of us, and for everyone involved, there comes a point where that actualization and realization comes suddenly. And there's no one specific way that this can manifest because it's not about manifestation. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected and that you are divine and you don't need emotional validation. You don't need spiritual validation. You don't need omens and sigils and any specific book to have your realization and your actualization. Now, I've made videos about this before, and I'll continue to make videos about this. However, that is the true meaning of abundance. That is what true abundance is realizing the limitlessness of the universe, of everything around us, within us, everything that surrounds every membrane, the very membrane that holds this universe together, that we are living in a fractal universe. We live in a holographic simulation that is also real. There is a reconciling of the paradoxes. This is where it all ties in. Those 7 Hermetic principles. Yeah, that's where this is all tying in. Now, you don't have to follow specifically Hermeticism or the 7 Hermetic principles. However, that's usually where people come to, is some form of that. Now, it doesn't have to be the Kybalion. It doesn't have to be the Emerald Tablet or anything by Bob Proctor, Napoleon Hill, Abraham Hicks. It's not going to depend on that. Yes, they can give you a place to start, and yes, they can lead you down a certain direction, and yes, they have good programming that you can choose. However, you ultimately come to your own conclusions and to your own realizations. Now, realization and actualization, that's a very personal experience. It's not an experience that you can be given to by someone else, or that you can be given to by doing certain rituals or prayers or going down a certain path or reading certain books, even if it's over and over again. That all helps. That all can lead you to where you are. Astrology can be a place. Astrology can help you. Yes, I mean, it shows that you're part of something bigger than yourself. You're part of something that's much more in the universe, that is unseen, immeasurable, that there is some kind of cosmic planning to all this. And you'll also come to a sudden noticing. You'll notice the patterns, you'll notice the changes. Yes, you'll notice them, and they are part of your path. However, once you get to a point where you don't need to notice them, you don't need the validation, just as you don't need the emotional validation from others. You don't need romantic love. You don't need to prove a point, because you know that they're under the spell. The universe is a result of thought forms. It is the result of a divine spark. And that divine spark is linguistic. It's a thought form. It's a simulation. That divine spark produces a thought form and a simulation. That's where we come from. That's what God created. And that is where you realize things. You don't even have to be religious. You don't even have to believe in the Bible or any of this to recognize this. This is truly a personal experience, and it's also a divine and universal experience that's part of the dissolution of the ego and the self. Now, the id still exists. I mean, in order for you to experience this universe in the physical body that you have, you need to survive. You need to eat food. Now, your parents have had to reproduce. You have had to be produced here. Are there beings and entities that are here without having been the result of sexual reproduction? Yes, there are. However, you don't need the validation. A lot of people simply go down the path of ego destruction and go down the spiritual path, and they have this constant sort of pressing voice in the back of their mind of validation, where they have to try to rationalize their beliefs and their decisions. And that's still part of the trap. That's still part of the entrapment. And so part of the realization is dissolving that. And so that'll be it for this one. Take care, everyone.